Hello and welcome. This is stage one of the PostNord Denmark route, the Tour of Denmark edition number 33. And we've got a rare treat for you today because we have a team time trial. Only 4 this year is what Pro Cycling Stats tell me, so that is how rare it has become. Has everything to do with the fact that we don't have a team time trial world championship anymore, so the interest in the event has dwindled. We're racing in Holstebro, which is the 6th time in the history of this Tour of Denmark. In 1988 it was Urs Freuler who won here, 1995 Nicola Minali, in 2008 Guillermo Bongiorno. I had to look him up, there was not a name that really stuck in my memory, but he was an Argentinian rider for the CSF team, they are here as well. 2010 it was Matt Goss, and in 2015 we had Lars Boom. So now on dry roads, luckily if you look at the rain radar, the thunderstorms that hit the Netherlands today have just passed the province of Jutland, where we are racing today. 13.7 kilometers. We've got the teams already lined up, and if you look at the order, the start order, we see that we start with one of the World Tour teams. We've got Free with DSM Firmenich PostNL, Albers in de Koning and UAE Team Emirates. We've got the development squad for Lidl Trek. But this order of affairs for the team time trial was done in a draw, because we don't have any classification just yet. So yeah, we start with some of the big hitters, and that is DSM Firmenich PostNL. "19 teams in total. With a start interval of 4 minutes. Looking at Frank van der Broek there, runner-up of the opening stage in the Tour de France, of course. We also have Christian Ekholm. He starts with number... Not Christian Ekholm. Tobias Andresen starts with number 1 on the team, so 21. So we got our first team on the start ramp. It's been a draw, so yeah, our World Tour team, one of the 3, has been drawn to start in first place. Our start interval is going to be 4 minutes, meaning that our last team, and that is Team Flanders Baloise, starts at 4:27 Central European time. My name is José Been. I'll be flying solo, as they call that, this week here on the Tour of Denmark. So you can keep me company on my social media, on X and on Instagram Threads, which I'm using more and more for, well, never mind. It's José Been, JOSEBENTV. This is the DSM Firmenich PostNL team. Very successful few weeks, especially with thanks to Pavel Bittner, the Czech rider who won both the opening and the last stage of the Tour of Burgos. And this is Tobias Andresen, one of the sprinters that we have here. Warren Barguil, Frank van der Broek, Johan Dorissen, Alex Edmondson, Niels Eekhoff. And if Brian Smith were here, we would have Spot the Scots, because we do have Sean Flynn. It's going to be, yeah, exciting to see what the teams can do here. Although, if you look at the firepower on the start ramp, we, yeah, I do expect that UAE Team Emirates will have the upper hand in this time trial. But yeah, it's something that we don't do very often. Only 4 this year is what Pro Cycling Stats tells me. So it's also something that the teams don't really train. Of course, they did a test lap. This is 13.7 kilometers, easy peasy to do a lap or possibly 2 on the time trial bike earlier today. But it's not something that's part of the training of the team at all, because yeah, we don't have the team time trial world championships anymore. If you look at the course, it's pretty straightforward. There's one interesting feature in it, actually, and that is a KOM sprint. The KOM classification is called the Novo Nordisk Diabetes Challenge. Novo Nordisk, at the moment, the most valuable company in the European Union, thanks to Ozempic, that is. Probably tell you something more about that later this week. But they are sponsor of our King of the Mountains classification, and this is that point. So there is a point 300 meters down, so that starts 500 meters off the ramp until this point at 800 meters off the ramp. And the rider who's been fastest up there, so they're probably going to time that with the transponders. I couldn't really find it in the road book. And then we have our first King of the Mountains jersey awarded. So we have that King of the Mountains sorted, and then we have a few easy turns, sweeping bends as it's called, a right-hand turn, and then almost a 180-degree turn back towards the final kilometre, where we find two more turns, one to the left and one to the right. If you look at the wind direction here that VeloViewer always provides, we have a little bit of a headwind in the first 7 kilometres, where we have our timing point, and a tailwind of about 10 kilometres, 11 kilometres an hour on the way back to the finish line. It's funny how the stripes on the backs of our riders of DSM-Firmenich cut in the middle with the bib numbers, and it looks like it's almost a Danish flag now on their backs. It's not. It's the continuous red and white stripes that the team from the Netherlands always have. Some fantastic news from the team in the run-up to the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift is that the salaries of both the men's and the women's World Tour squad will be equal from 2025. So wonderful news there from the team from the Netherlands. Our second team, they are racing a home race, as Phil Sutherland said. 11th year running for Team Novo Nordisk here in the Tour of Denmark. Their aim is to get to a podium place in one of the sprint stages. The best contender for that is actually Matthias Kopecky. We also have Andrea Perron, one of the veterans on the team. Hamish Beadle. I'm supposed to say Hamish Beagle. Sorry, Hamish. Hamish Beadle, that is. Filippo Rodolfo, Alessandro Peracchione, Antonio Polga, 3 Italians, and Nathan Smith. Also born in Scotland, but according to the website of Team Novo Nordisk, actually English. So not a second episode of Spot the Scot on this team. Many teams that we do not see on our races very often, of course, the Danish continental teams are here, but also Park Hotel Valkenburg, which is also a continental, a 3rd division team. Mazowsze Zerskie Polski is a Polish team, and we also have a national team on the start line with Anders Voldager, the rider for Jaco Lula, Matthias Norsgaard, Julius Johansson, Malte Hellerup, Johan Prees Petersen, Adam Jurgensen and Kasper Andersen. That is for a little bit later. The Danish team is about halfway into the field. I was looking at my start list just right now, and I was like, where are they? But on my start list it's called PostNord Landsholdet, and that's probably Danish for national team. So we have an intermediate point that comes after 7 kilometers, so automatically at 6.7 from the finish line. And there's a little bit of elevation, as you can see. There's many a Danish flag out, as we will see throughout the week. And so far, so good for the DSM-Firmenich PostNL team. 7 riders, quite a royal time of cut-off time here, 50% no less. And the only thing that I didn't look up is, the time of which rider counts. And if you are commentating by yourself, as I am, that is a little bit of an omission on my part. I'm going with 5, but if somebody can look it up for me, that would be really, really nice. It will be interesting to see what the likes of Frank van der Broek can do in this race. Of course, we do not have the high mountains, so not really something that he can excel in. But when he had his breakthrough performance at the National Championships of the Netherlands 2 years ago in the south of the country with all the hills, it was pretty clear that he does really well with these short intervals as well. Here we are at our intermediate point. Here's our next team, and we're looking in the face and the moustache of actually the biggest favourite for the overall recent winner of the Arctic Race of Norway. He was on the podium last year together with Mads Pedersen, who won, and Mathias Skelmose, and this is of course Magnus Kort. Racing here with UnoX Mobility. They have most of their Danes actually on the start line. As you might know, UnoX Mobility is a company which is active in both Norway and Denmark. Andreas Leknesund is their only Norwegian rider. The Danish riders Louis Bendiksen, Carl Fredrik Beaufort, Rasmus Wallin, Magnus Kort, William Blume-Levy and Niklas Larsen. Larsen straight off the track where he won the bronze in the Madison with Michael Mørkøv. And another rider who's got good memories from this course is Carl Fredrik Beaufort, because in 2023 here in Holstebro we had the National Championships, and Carl Fredrik Beaufort, who's always part of the Danish Team Pursuit, won both the Under-23 national title, time trial and road. So he was probably kind of happy to be back. Talking about titles, this place, Holstebro, is also the hometown of Pernille Mathiesen. A couple of years ago, she won the double in the Under-23 European Championships, both time trial and road. Sadly, her career ended prematurely due to health issues. Last year, this race ended with a time trial. Now we start with a time trial, individual time trial last year. Difference between the two teammates of Lidl Trek, Mads Pedersen and Mathias Skelmose, was just a few seconds, but Mads Pedersen showed what he was worth on that time trial and won the overall by, I think, 49 seconds, something like that. So quite a convincing performance. We don't have Mads Pedersen. We do have his brother on the start line for the Lidl Trek team, and they are also the next off the start ramp. Very curious to see what Magnus Kort can do here after his fantastic form, where he won a stage and the overall classification in the Arctic Race of Norway, and was also instrumental in the 2 stage wins for Alexander Kristoff. He is in absolute flying form, and he's here to finally get that overall win, because it's something that he didn't just yet. If we look at the stats of Magnus Kort in the Tour of Denmark, We see that he was second in 2016, third last year, also a fifth place in the GC, and 11 years ago in 2013 he was already ninth, and fifth top 10 place came in 2015. So he has a lot of history when it comes to this race, but never on that top spot after 5 days. And I think he will be absolutely buzzing to get it right this year. And in my opinion, he is the absolute top favourite. Jon Dorissen here with number 24, struggling a little bit, a man from the development setup. And this man, oh, he kind of missed that final moment. So I do reckon, because I asked my colleagues here at Eurosport, we always have a WhatsApp group for the races, and my colleagues across Europe also couldn't find in the road book, in the rule book, in the regulations, which rider across the finish line sets the time for the team. So it's probably not in there, but I'm going for 4, since DSM Firmenich PostNL are down to 4 now, and they are approaching that finish line. Here's Lidl Trek, the development team of the Lidl team, the Lidl Trek team, Lidl Trek Future Racing. Christian Ekholm taking a step down from the World Tour team. Liam O'Brien, Irish rider. Cole Kessler from the USA. Matteo Milan, the brother of Jonathan Milan. Martin Pedersen, the brother of Nes Pedersen. Cameron Rogers, who is of course a fantastic time trialist, and Tim Thorn Teutenberg, also fresh off the track in Paris, where he raced the Omnium with a 10th place, if you were wondering. So I did prepare something. I only couldn't find what it was for riders, but this kind of answers the question. Oh, or it does not. Alex Atmanson, meaning that we are down to Dorissen, Andresen, we're down to 3 riders. Oof, tricky final chicane here. But here we are, final 250 meters. And the DSM team across the line. With the Danish rider Tobias Lund as first across the line. So that is of course important. Back to the UnoX team. Tour of Denmark is on your screens right now, and we're looking at UnoX Mobility with 5 of their 7 riders remaining. We have Brevoort there with number 12. We have Magnus Kort with number 14, the biggest favourite for the overall, in my opinion. Also still in this group is William Blume, I think Andreas Leknesund, and Niklas Larsen must be the last one. There he is, number 17. Niklas Larsen, bronze on the medicine last Sunday on the balls of Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines with Michael Mørkøv. This is a team time trial. We don't see that very often. 13.7 kilometers. We have a timing point 7 kilometers after the start. So quick calculations brings us to 6.7 kilometers from the finish line. It's basically your individual time that counts. Whether you want to finish all by yourself and leave all your teammates behind, or try to make it a team time trial all the way to the finish. We had the DSM Firmenich PostNL team across the line, the first team to finish, with Tobias Lund, Johan Doresen and Alex Appleton, I think, or Niels Eekhoff. We haven't had confirmation just yet of who were in that first group, but it was most definitely Tobias Lund Andresen across the finish line first. 3 World Tour teams on the start line with DSM Firmenich PostNL. We have Alpecin de Koning and UAE Team Emirates. We have the development squad for Lidl Trek. We have a national team with some World Tour riders, including Matthias Norsgaard, Julius Johansson and Anders Voldager. And 19 teams in total. Start interval is 4 minutes. And yeah, the first of 5 stages here. First time in the history of the Tour of Denmark, and this is edition 33 that we have a team time trial. As we look at the Tudor Pro Cycling team, who started their time trial 1 minute and 18 seconds ago, it's good to see that Arvid de Klein is finally back in the professional peloton. A couple of months ago, actually, he bumped his knee on his handlebars, and that took a lot longer than he had anticipated, that injury. But he's finally back, and yeah, maybe he can already go for some good sprints. They got 2 Danes on the team, with Alexander Kamp and Sebastian Colze-Changizi, Tom Bowley, the Swiss rider, Lucas Eriksson, Joel Suter and Matteo Trentin, who also showed some good form in recent races. I think he raced in Burgos. My name, by the way, is Jose Been. He raced in Wallonia. And I am doing commentary this week on the Tour of Denmark all by myself. So that is a bit of a challenge, and it's fun as well. But I would really like if you would join me on social media. My handle is my name, JOSEBEEN TV, on both threads, which I tend to use a little bit more, and also on X. And yeah, today it will be a bit difficult, but the upcoming stages I'll probably have more than enough time to answer some of your questions. So please join me, because it will be more fun together. Magnus Kort there with number 14. Carl Fredrik Brevoort with number 12. 17 is Niklas Larsen and 15 is Andreas Leknesund. Individual time across the line counts, and yeah, the man with number 14 is the biggest favourite after his overall win in the Arctic Race of Norway, and also his absolute he was also absolutely instrumental in the 2 stage wins for Alexander Kristoff. Two riders across the line. I think I do recognize Matthias Kopecki there in first place, but it all went by very fast. And normally, if you are with 2, you always have 2 pairs of eyes, so it might be that I missed something, but I'm doing my best. Oof. That was enough here for Carl Fredrik Brevoort. He had, is he having a mechanical? I think it's just done his job here. Good memories there for the young Dane, because this is the place where he took a national title on the 23 time trial and a road race, and that was back in 2022, 23, and in 2022 we also had the national championships here in Holstebro in Jutland. That is where we are racing, and yeah, that was the title twice in a row for Rasmus Pedersen. Sadly, he's out with, if I recall correctly, a broken collarbone. Next team off the ramp, also with a Danish captain, is Alpecin de Koning. Of course, I'm talking about Søren Kragh Andersen, Tobias Bayer, Michael Gogol, the two Austrians. We have Marceli Boguslawski from Poland. Jimmy Janssens, Jonas Rickaert and Simon de Heer. Here in last position with number 37 are the three Belgians on the team. This is a funny feature on this time trial because we do have a King of the Mountain sprint sponsored by Novo Nordisk, and there is the sign. It's a 300-meter long King of the Mountains. It's 1.3% average, and they are going to take the fastest time up that really small climb to award that first King of the Mountains jersey tomorrow. They're down to just three riders. Niklas Larsen in first place, Andreas Leknesund, and with number 14, Magnus Kort. First fastest time so far was a 14 minutes 30. And yeah, since this is on an individual basis, it's actually the time of Tobias Lund that counts. And now we have Magnus Kort. Yeah, across the line. But we now go through that chicane. There we go. Magnus Kort and Andreas Leknesund, the two riders left. It's all on an individual basis, which is a little bit funny in a team time trial. But yeah, this is the tactic that both DSM-Firmenich-PostNL applied, and now also UNOX. And Magnus Kort is the first across the line. It didn't beat the time of DSM-Firmenich-PostNL, but only 6 seconds behind. Meaning that our virtual leader at the moment is still Tobias Lund. All of a sudden we are back in the Shire, as you can see. No, this is absolutely lovely. It's not the Shire. Holstebro, it has a really, really long history that dates back to, yeah, prehistory, medieval, and the town's name is, according to some, because if you go back, way back in time, it's always difficult to find these written sources to know for sure, but they think it comes from Holsties Bridge. If you have watched the absolutely epic Scandinavian series, crime series, The Bridge, you know that it is the Danish word for bridge because it's Brun. So they think it's from Holsties Bridge. It was a settlement over the Storen River. We saw a little image of that. A crucial crossing point for travellers. And they made a lot of money early in the medieval period by trading cattle, especially horses. Lovely, lovely drone footage here. Our turning point, and this is where we have our intermediate time. But I haven't seen an overview just yet of the intermediate timing point. This is Denmark as well. As you can see, a bike path on the side of the road. Denmark is a fantastic country if you ride a bike. We saw that last year in Copenhagen, and we're seeing it again today in Holstebro, and we will see it throughout the week. The Little Trek Future Racing Team with Tim Ton Tutenberg there with number 7. Yeah, absolute contender to quite possibly win a stage here. Fantastic sprinter, huge talent. Cameron Rogers, big engine, has done his job here, the Aussie. Here we have this is the finish times with DSM-Firmenich still in first place. We didn't see the start of Tour de Titema Unibet, but we might catch up with them a little bit later. The Alpecin de Koning team still with 7. This is the river, and this is some fantastic footage. I love it. A 2-point Pro Series race, so that is the second category. Only 3 World Tour teams, have everything to do, of course, with the Tour of Poland that is going on as well. We have the French World Tour teams racing in the Tour de Limousin, which you can check on your digital channels with Jazz and with Brian. We also have the Tour of Leuven, which is a 1-day race in Belgium, and everybody's, of course, watching the fun anyways. Here we go with the Lidl Trek team, provisional 3rd place for them. With the black helmet is Tim Teutenberg, as the Germans would say. We're staying here with Alpecin Deceuninck. I'll give you the names though of our Tour de Titema Unibet cycling team. I do note that there's many fans out there. Abraham Stockman, the Belgian rider who we probably going to see in a breakaway or 2. Andreas Stockbro, Niklas Pedersen, Sebastian Nilsson, those are the 3 Danish riders on the team. Tomasz Kopecki racing with his brother, who's of course on Novo Nordisk. And we also have the 2 Dutch riders, Jelle Johanning, the King of the Mountains from the Arctic Race of Norway, and Hartijs de Vries is the 2nd Dutchman on the TDT Unibet team. Jelle Johanning fresh of the podium in the Arctic Race of Norway, and he won himself 500 kilograms of salmon. It was a prize that was actually abandoned in the Arctic Race of Norway since 4 or 5 years, but they dared the race director Thor Hushovd and said, well, if one of our riders gets the King of the Mountains classification, the overall win, we do want those 500 kilograms of salmon back. And that is exactly what happened. They also had to catch a fish. Thor Hushovd had set a minimum weight limit. They didn't really made it to that big of a fish, but Hushovd agreed and said, okay, you have done what I asked you to do, and I'll give you 500 kilograms of salmon. So the team is stocked with protein for the rest of the year. After 9 minutes, the Alpecin Deceuninck team are down to 6. It's of course all about the strategy. You know, if you do not have a rider for the overall classification and are going for stage wins, and I think Alpecin Deceuninck are doing that with Søren Kragh Andersen and Simon De Heer for the flatter finishes. This time trial is just about, finishing it and make sure that you are all in one piece. It's a huge logistical operation, of course. You have to bring your time trial bikes to Denmark. And it's something that the teams hardly ever train on. Of course, we had for quite a few years the World Championships in the team time trial, which was nice, but sadly abandoned. The Quick Step team, I think they won it 4 times. But the last one was a couple of years ago. And since we don't have that team time trial, there's just not a lot of interest anymore in organizing a team time trial. The Vuelta is actually the most active in organizing team time trials at the highest level. And even they start with an individual time trial in Lisbon on Saturday. Here we are with the Tudor Pro Cycling team. Matteo Trentin, they're in first place. But we still have Tobias Lund of the DSM Feminin PostNL team in first place for the GC, and the entire team in the hot seat, or the hot podium, whatever you want to call it, with that 14:31. Here is that provisional finish time. DSM Feminin PostNL, Unix Mobility at 6, Tudor at 20. As you can imagine, here in Denmark, hardly any elevation, although the organisers have managed to find a few short but fierce climbs in the upcoming days, and quite a few uphill finishes where the final kilometre is 4-5%, which is absolutely perfect for the man in this team, Arnaud Delis. He is here to hone his form towards, I think, the European Championships, towards the races in Canada. He won there, of course, his big breakthrough World Tour win last year for Arnaud Delis. We will see him tomorrow in his Belgian national jersey. In the Tour de France, it didn't really click. We had, of course, the absolute best sprinters in the world. But in this race, he is one of the top sprinters. And, yeah, they're here to get points. Lotto Destiny are very eager to return to World Tour level after 2025, when we start a new 3-year rotation. They and the Israel Premier Tech team relegated. Not really a big problem, in my opinion. Having a pro team is cheaper in license fees, in anti-doping, etc. And they chose not to do the Giro. Raced a whole bunch of races in France, in Belgium in that period of time, gaining points as well. But they're well inside the top 18. The Inner Ring blog always has great updates of the situation at the moment. The Astana Kazakhstan team is in grave danger. And they also lost Alexei Lutsenko. I was kind of surprised reading that this week, going through all my emails, seeing that Alexei Lutsenko, arguably the best rider from Kazakhstan, is leaving the team from Kazakhstan. Of course, a new Chinese sponsor is joining the team with many millions. But he's going to Israel Premier Tech, so yeah, taking some points there as well, which is very important. A good time for Alpecin de Koning, but the time of DSM Feminin was, of course, 14:30. Average speed there, 56.7 kilometers an hour. And here we are with Søren Kragh Andersen and Jimmy Janssens across the line. Lots of destiny on their way to the intermediate point. I already mentioned Arnaud Delis, but they're also racing with fellow Belgians Jenno Bergmoes, Jasper de Buist, Sébastien Grignard and Florian Vermeers. Jared Drisners and Logan Curry represent Down Under. Logan, of course, for New Zealand and Drisners for Australia. Here we are with Q36.5, the next team off the ramp, with Italians Walter Calzoni, Filippo Conca, Giacomo Nisolo, Nicolo Parisini. We've got Irishman Rory Townsend, Tobias Ludvigsson, the tallest of them all, and Frédéric Frison. Although Frédéric Frison and Tobias Ludvigsson side by side, they might actually not make each other all that much. Sad for all those fans of TDT Unibet. Absolutely no footage of the Dutch team. And I'm a little bit of a fan of them after the Arctic Race of Norway, where they make these daily videos. The Tour de France, their YouTube channel is really a joy to follow. But hopefully we'll see them in the breakaways, and I can tell you a little bit more about that. Yeah, Frison and Ludvigsson, 63 is Frison, 64 is Ludvigsson. I think they are quite evenly matched. I think Ella Chapmanson is cracking a few jokes there, together with Niels Eekhoff there and the entire team on the podium. Five riders left as we have 4 kilometers to go. Look at that, 66 kilometers an hour. Normally that gives you a traffic fine here, but not today. Here we have the TDT Unibet cycling team. 5 of them. Good ride. Currently in 3rd place. I don't think it's a team to go for a good GC. I think they're here for stage wins, with their fast riders, Niklas Andy Pedersen. And maybe, who knows, from a breakaway. Harthuis de Vries, for example, he tried very early on in the season. I think it was in the Tour of Istanbul. And yeah, those are the riders who can go far when there's no control, when they're not being chased down. The first of the continental teams from Denmark. They have been training around the course. The local, the Colo Quick team, in their referee outfit. They might also be employed by a British sports brand. They're here with 7 Danish riders: Joshua Gutnitz, Emil Tudal, Nikolai Mengel, Axel Scott Hansen, Tore Trulsen, Simon Bach and Pelle Mikkelsen. And those are riders that, of course, want to go for that breakaway. But what can they do in this team time trial? meaning that we still have 8 teams to go, including the top favourites, in my opinion, Team UAE Emirates, with Olympic champion, Madison champion, Rui Oliveira. But also Finn Fisher-Black, Mikkel Bjerg, Sjoerd Bucks, Alvaro Hodge, Domen Novak, and Ivo Oliveira, the two twins. So I do hope that none of the Oliveira brothers actually comes across the line first, or I might be in a little bit of a pickle identifying them. But yeah, they have the most firepower in the team when it comes to time trial. They're also in the final kilometre. The Lotto Destiny team passed the Lidl on your left-hand side. Kilometre to go. They are losing their sponsor, Destiny, as you might have read in the newspapers. And that is a bit of a gap in the budget that has to be overcome. Manager Stefan Hulot indicated there is, of course, interest. They have already renewed the contracts of some of their most important young Belgian riders, with Arnaud Delis, with Lennart van Eetveld, the number 3 of the Classica San Sebastian on Saturday. Also Sébastien Grignard, the rider from Wallonia in this team, has renewed. But Sylvain Moniquet, another rider from the development team from Wallonia actually, is moving over to Cofidis. Team almost complete. And oh, that is very close. Very, very close. Just, yeah, less than 2 seconds actually between them. And that could be interesting when it comes to the bonus seconds on the line, because we've got 10, 6 and 4 in tomorrow's stage, in the sprint stage. And that might be interesting for the likes of Arnaud Delis taking the leader's jersey. That is all for the future, but a good time there by Lotto Destiny. Didn't beat our leaders. That was the team first off the ramp, DSM Firmenich PostNL, with Tobias Lund first across the line. But Lotto Destiny just 2 seconds behind. UnoX Mobility 6, Unibet, Tour de Titema Unibet, Tudor Pro Cycling Team complete the provisional top 5 at the moment. Yeah, the Danish continental teams, the Airtox Carl Ras team. We have BHS PL Baton Bornholm, Team Colo Quick, 3 teams from the Danish national leagues. They are a 3rd division team. We have from Norway also a 3rd division team, that is Coop Repsol. From Poland we have Mazowsze Zerskie Polski, and we have a national team from Denmark as well. This is the team in blue, Airtox Carl Ras. I do tend to recall that BHS also wears blue, Coop Repsol wears blue, so that is going to be rather interesting. 7 Danish riders with Mes Andersen, Magnus Claris, Matthias Larsen, Alexander Hansen, Daniel Stampen, Stian Rosenlund and Frederik Sørensen. That's remarkable, having 2 team cars, because the rules clearly state that there's only 1 team car allowed. So we do have a team time trial. It's not about the 3rd or 4th across the line, but it's just the individual time that counts. So a little bit different than we normally have. And back with the boys in stripes, Team Colo Quick. And that is a good jersey because it really stands out. And that is what we want as commentators and as spectators. 2 wins already to a national championships in the under-23 for Pelle Nicholson. Not on the start, on the start list with number 177. And Emile Toudal, who's also racing here with 172, won a stage in the Tour du Loir et Cher. A team with a lot of history. If you have been following cycling for a while, they were actually called Designa Køkken, I think that's kitchen in Danish, back in 2006 already. With the likes of Chris Anker Sørensen, never forgotten, of course. Sadly, no longer with us. Jakob Fuglsang rode for this team in 2008. Laurent Didier, a name you might remember. Alexis Saramotis, the Latvian rider. If I just casually glance through, we have Rasmus Kvade. Remember that man with the iconic moustache when moustaches were not in fashion. Rasmus Kvade was Mr. Moustache. Now we have Magnus Kort flying the flag for the moustache-wearing guys. But a team with a long history here in Denmark. They became Kolo Quick in 2015. And in 2016, a certain Jonas Vingegaard joined this team from a club team, the Odder Cycle Club. And in May of 2016, he joined the team. So yeah, the first team for Jonas Vingegaard was also Team Kolo Quick. You learn something new every day. Stayed with the team for 2 seasons, and of course in 2019 left for Jumbo-Visma, where he now has a contract up, and including 2028. Vingegaard, of course, racing in the Tour of Poland, and if you still want to catch up on those results, maybe tune the volume down, because we just had the finish in the Tour of Poland, and yet again, it was Thibaut Nys. We had a little bit of ramp to the finish line, and that is where Thibaut Nys kind of excels. Second win this week, and Jonas Vingegaard is the leader in the general classification. "35,000 people live here in Holstebro, which is in central Jutland. We do go to the other islands, so we stay on Jutland for the first 2 stages, and then we move over. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Sixth time we have a stage finish in this town. The first time was in 1988 with Urs Freuler winning that stage. That's a name from the past. I do tend to remember, although I was 9 at the time, that he was also one of these moustache people. Moustache men, I should say. 1995, Nicola Minali. 2008, Guillermo Bongiorno. A name that I absolutely did not remember. He was an Argentinian rider of the CSF team. Matthew Goss won here in 2010, and in 2015 it was current SD Worx Pro Time sports director Lars Boom. So this is going to be the 6th time we are finishing a stage here. We're staying with the Carl Ras Airtox team. There we go. Airtox Carl Ras, I should say. Staying in formation more or less. And here we are with Q36.5. We didn't have a camera with the team, sadly. Give us the time. 13:30 or 14:30 is that time. And this is 14:45. And they're also inside the final 4 minutes, 3.5. Of course, we're staying with the Danish team here. 175 is Tore Troelsen. 171, Joshua Gudnitz. And we move over to the next team from Denmark, also conveniently in blue and black. Also with 7 Danish riders on the start ramp. And here we go again. Tobias Aagaard, Mikael Øriksland, Victor Enggaard, Martin Sokodi, Jakob Shibu, Andreas Jensen and Mes Emil Dupont. And I do apologize to everybody who is Danish for maybe having the names completely wrong. If you have any additions, how I should pronounce things, please just do reach out. I am always open for I'm also open to learning new stuff. I wonder who's actually made a goal of that KOM, that 300 meters, 1.3% climb that we have straight after the start, after 500 meters. 300 meters, and then, yeah, the fastest probably got 2 of these transponder mats featured there, and then we do award that first jersey. We've got 4 jerseys in this race, as we did last year. We have one, of course, for the leader. That is a yellow jersey, as it should be. What am I saying? It's a blue jersey. I thought I remembered last year it was a yellow jersey, but it's a blue jersey. The driving change in diabetes, which is for the hill competition. They don't even call it King of the Mountains here in the Tour of Denmark. They call it the hill competition. That is a red with white polka dots. The Skoda jersey is Skoda green for the sprint competition, and the best young rider is sponsored by the Sparekassen Denmark. Finishing with 3 riders is Team Colo Quick. Fastest time still for the DSM Firmenich team. And you might wonder, why were they the first team off the ramp as a World Tour team, one of 3 World Tour teams? Well, it was a draw. It's a first stage, and we don't have a classification just yet. So it was just a draw, and DSM Firmenich PostNL were the first off the ramp. We still have 5 teams to go. Mazowsze Zerzepolski, Team UAE Emirates, PostNord, National Team, VF Group Bardiani, and Team Flanders Baloise. Good time, by the way, for the Colo Quick boys. Great result there by Team Colo Quick, slotting into 3rd place. Is the Bornholm team or Kalras? This is going to be very complicated this week, both in blue. But this is the Bornholm team, indeed, with leading at the moment Dupont, 164, Martin Sokodi, still all together. 162, we have Mikael Øriksland. These are the kind of riders that will feature in our breakaways. But yeah, just as much to you as to me unknown riders that we will get to know this week, and that's always the fun thing. We might meet some new superstars. They're also approaching that final kilometre. Not just yet, it's outside the Lidl. The Coop Repsol team, I haven't introduced them to you just yet. Very active in the Arctic race of Norway, but straight back to the Airtox Carl Ras team. 152, Magnus Bach Clarius. 10 years ago, he won Paris-Roubaix for juniors, beating Kasper Pedersen, the rider of Soudal Quickstep. Just signed a new contract with the team, with the Danish rider Kasper Pedersen. Sadly, no Soudal Quickstep here. As I said, it's pretty busy at the moment when it comes to the cycling calendar. Airtox Carl Ras on their way to the finish line through the chicane here in first position. Magnus Bach, 2014 Paris-Roubaix winner for juniors, that is. It was the years of Danish wins. 2012 it was Mats Wood-Smith, currently with Israel Premier Tech. 2013 Mads Pedersen, and 2014 this man Magnus Bach, one of the best juniors of his age. But sadly for him, that breakthrough never really did happen. He is the first across the line for his team. Here we have Holstebro, 35,000 inhabitants. And it all started with a ford in the river where you just could easily pass through. Then some trading in cattle, in horses. And that is how this town started all the way back in the 13th century, when we find the first news, the first words in the annals of history. This is the big favourite for the win. Mikkel Bjerg, there we have him. He might actually be our first blue jersey wearer. He's joined by Sjoerd Baks, Finn Fisher Black, fresh off his podium finish in Burgos, Alvaro Hodge, Domen Novak, and the Oliveira twins, with Rui Oliveira, of course, the Olympic Madison champion, alongside Juri Leitao. And there we go, one of the three World Tour teams and absolute top favourites for the win. Currently leading is DSM Firmenich with a time of 14:30, average speed of almost 57 an hour, 56.7. Will these riders go over that 57 mark? That would be quite something. Three riders for the DSM Firmenich team across the line together. Tobias Lund Andersen, so he's in pole position now for that blue jersey. Johan Doresen, good performance there from the Dutchman, and Frank van der Broek, also there in that team. Then we had Lotto Destiny in second place with Jenno Bergmoes, De Buys, De Lie, Logan Curry and Vermeers, all still together. And currently in third place is Team Kolokwik. 2 riders across the line there with Joshua Gutnitz in first place. Three more teams to go. National team for Denmark, VF Group Bardiani, or VF Group Bardiani CSF Faizanin, as the entire name is, and we have Team Flanders Baloise still to come. As you can see, not everybody has the same bike on the team, nor have they got the same helmet. These are third division teams. It's not always a position to be paid a full-time salary, sadly. And also when it comes to equipment, it's a world apart from the Colnagos that we have here on Team UAE Emirates. Of course, Mikkel Bjerg is racing here with number 42. Will be very eager to cross that line in first place. Mikkel Bjerg, the Danish rider, the only Danish rider here on the team. Third year that he's racing the PostNord Denmark Tour. The other 2 years were 2018 and 2019. Talking about an array of bikes, this is the national team. We have Team Movistar, we have riders from Bahrain Victoria, from Hagen's Berman Action, and also Julius Johansson. In my mind he was still part of the Intermarché team, but yeah, he's moved on to a team in Portugal. Didn't get a contract renewal, and that's how he's now racing in Portugal. And they also have a young talent, Malte Hellerup. He's 20 from Aalborg and has been doing really, really well on the Danish national circuit so far. He is racing with number 184. .181 on the Svoldager. You can see the giant bike there. He is racing for Team Jayco Alula. 186, Adam Jurgensen, normally racing for Hagen's Berman. Jayco is the name. So is his teammate, Kasper Andersen. With 187. 182, Matthias Norsgaard, normally part of the Movistar team, racing with the Rudy Project helmet, and the Merida bike is Johan Prijs Petersen, normally part of Bahrain Victoria. Bahrain Victorious, I should say. Fastest time at the intermediate timing point, where the UAE Team Emirates are almost 5:57. So curious to see what the team is going to do. We're waiting for that intermediate point. Those were some of the riders of the team from Poland. Mazowsze, Zerski, Polski. Oh, that was a water bottle on one of the bikes here of Team UAE Emirates, but yeah, 13.7 kilometers. You could do without. Weather here is about 24 degrees Celsius. The rain, the thunderstorms that we just had here in the Netherlands have moved to the west of Jutland, so we do have a dry afternoon, although it might start to rain in the evening, but luckily for this time trial, dry roads. Ivo Oliveira here with number 46. 45 is Domen Novak. Underestimated rider, absolute top domestique alongside Tadej Pogačar. They get along really well. Both from Slovenia, of course. Well, if we look at the intermediate timing, that was 5:57, best time there. Well, Uno-X Mobility actually 5:56, but we don't have an intermediate time. We didn't see an intermediate time for Team Emirates, so we're just going to look at the time at the finish. It will be a little while, they're halfway in. So the timing point should be right about now. It is at the almost 180 degree turn. We're 7 minutes in. We're already past that point. But sadly, we didn't see that intermediate point. Now, this is that point now. I seriously start to doubt my life ticker here. Anyways, we are looking at the time of DSM Firmenich PostNL. Current top three. They're in the lead, 14:31, 3 seconds down are Lotto Destiny, and 6 seconds down are Team Colo Quick. Here's the lineup for the PostNord Landsholdet, which is Danish for national team. Number 86, Adam Holm Jørgensen, racing BMC bikes, as his team of course do. One of the best development squads in the world, Hagens Berman Jayco. Two young Danes on the squad with Adam Jørgensen and Kasper Andersen. Good sprinter, Kasper Andersen. Look at the wind direction here. It's going to be a tailwind out. Oh no, the wind direction has changed. It's going to be a crosswind, cross headwind actually, to our timing point, to our midway point after 7 kilometers, and a tailwind back about 10-11 kilometers an hour. Not really all that much, but still, it might be helpful. Hard to miss here, Matthias Norsgaard. The Danish team had a third place at the team pursuit on the track in Paris. Some of these riders are here, like Nicolas Larsen, for example, of UnoX Mobility. Tobias Hansen is here as well, racing for Bornholm. We have Carl Frederick Beaufort also on the start list from that team pursuit from the Olympics. Johan Pryce Peterson here in last position on the Merida bike. Always easy to recognise, if you're a commentator, to recognise the riders on national squads, whether that is European Championships, World Championships, or these kind of races, by their helmets. This was not really the case at the Olympics, where yeah, every rider was just giving a helmet, special design helmet from their helmet sponsor, making things more complicated to recognise. Although it was only 90 riders, so it shouldn't have been that much of a problem. But here, everybody just brought their own kits in terms of helmet, shoes and bike, so they're easy to tell apart. Last team is now on the start ramp, and that is Team Flanders Baloise. So in about 14 minutes, 15 minutes, we know who is going to win this time trial. But we're now eagerly anticipating the arrival of Team Emirates. They started 12 minutes ago. Winning time, or leading time at the moment, whether it's winning, kind of depends on what UAE Emirates does, is 14:31 for the DSM Firmenich PostNL team. So that means that we still have to wait about 2 minutes to the finish of the team from the Emirates. Here they are. Over and out for Rui Oliveira. Oof, oh, there goes another bottle here. I think these are those integrated bottles here on the Colnagos. But Rui Oliveira, the Olympic Madison champion, what a race that was. Sadly, a lot of crashes, including Team GB, including the Italians. A really weird move by Jan-Willem van Schip, which led to a disqualification, and rightly so, that move with Ollie Wood. But yeah, the Portuguese, they did a fantastic final 20-25 laps. And Yuri Leitao and Rui Oliveira are the Olympic Madison champions. Going towards the finish, Sjoerd Bucks here with number 41. 46 is Ivo Oliveira. Mikkel Bjerg should still be out there in first place now. And with 43, it's Finn Fisher-Black. They are going with Finn Fisher-Black towards the finish line, although, no, this is that point where we go into the chicane. 14:30, that is going to be tight. Overtaking some of the riders of the team from Poland here in red. 14:30 is the time for DSM Firmenich, with a Danish rider at the front. And it's going to be really, really tight. 250 meters, 200 meters. Looks like Mikkel Bjerg there in first position. Oh, this is going to be really, really tight, and it is going to be enough. It's Ivo Oliveira in the first place. It looked as if they just had made it by half a second. Ivo Oliveira asking Alex Atkinson, yeah, we won. Yes, you did. We'll wait for the official confirmation, but that was really, really, really close. Half a second is what the timing gave. That means that DSM Firmenich has been in that hot seat for an hour, have to vacate the seats for Team Emirates. Still waiting for the exact time. It says now they're in second place. It was half a second up or half a second down. It's now indicated it was actually half a second down. But DSM Firmenich, they were packing their bags, they were moving. So, No, I am now looking at the official results, and it is indeed still DSM Firmenich. Alex Edmondson said to Ivo Oliveira, it's like, yeah, you won, but it's still Tobias Lund in pole position for that blue jersey. Half a second. Fisher Black across the line. Norsgaard Bjerg. Not Matthias Norsgaard, but Mikkel Norsgaard Bjerg, of course, the husband of Emma Norsgaard. Schurbachs were the riders across the line. That was very exciting. Johan Pryce Peterson leaves his teammates behind, meaning we still have Anders Voldager, I think Matthias Norsgaard, and it might be Julius Johansson there with the bright yellow helmet, now part of a Portuguese team called Sabigol. No, it's Adam Jurgensen of the Hagens Jayco team. It is indeed Julius Johansson and Anders Voldager. They are also making their way towards that final kilometer, just outside of the Lidl supermarket. The live timing is now completely confusing, because it now has riders of DSM Firmenich and UAE Team Emirates all in the same time. Ivo Oliveira, I keep mixing them up, it's probably the same as everybody except for their parents. But Ivo Oliveira is now indicated as being in third place, and so he was probably just a fraction of a second faster than his teammate. It's all very confusing. We'll see the official results later. But he's currently in third place. We are looking at the final three teams now, with Julius Johansson across the line, with Anders Voldager. And a little bit further back is Adam Jurgensen. Julius Johansson was part of that Omnium, of that Team Pursuit team for the Danes for quite some time. Didn't get a new contract with Antamachir Wanty, the man here with the bright yellow helmet, and found a place in Portugal. But here we go. Oh, another very close finish here with Anders Voldager. Fourth place for him. Look at that, it's a party here. They're now given in the same time, with two riders of DSM Firmenich in places 1 and 2, with Tobias Lund still in pole position for the blue jersey, Johan Doresen in second, but then they give Ivo Oliveira in third place, ahead of Frank van der Broek of DSM Firmenich. It's individual times, it's a team time trial, but individual times count. We still see on the sign, the finish arch, that Tobias Lund Andresen is still in the lead. But this was very exciting. We still have two teams to go. We haven't seen anything of Team VF Group Bardiani CSF Faisane. They're racing here with 7 Italians, with Colnaghi, Conforti, Magli, Pinazzi, Tarozzi, Tonelli and Zanoncello. And this is the last team on the road, with 7 riders from Flanders and the broom wagon behind them. This is Alex Koolman, Jules Hestes, Jasper de Jager, Adam van Poeken, Dylan van der Storme, Bart van Hoofd and Victor Vercouy. 4 of their riders were active at the Olympics and in the Team Pursuit, which is a project of Belgian cycling at the moment. They did ride a new Belgian record, but finished in, I think, 7th or 8th, I think 8th place. But all very young guys on the Belgian Team Pursuit, so margin for growth there. So this is our final team on the road, and we still only have Bardiani There we are, first glimpse of the team in blue. Normally not the biggest threats to the lead of Tobias Lund Andresen. Yeah, they're still there. And they're not. Yeah, in these instances, it's still remarkable that at this level, there's 7 people just handling them. We don't have a start machine like we have on the track. And that just, yeah, can mean the difference between winning and losing in this instance. The difference is so very small. Reminds me of a Tour de France time trial many years ago between Quickstep and Greenedge, Orica Greenedge in Nice. That was also such a small margin. The Australians won in the end, beating the reigning world champions in the World Team Time Trial Championships. So yeah, that was pretty exciting. But as I said before, since we don't have the World Championships anymore, there's just not a lot of interest to organise these team time trials. Finish of our penultimate team on the road. VF Group Bardiani CSF Vaisanen. 16 years ago, they won a stage here in Holstebro with Guillermo Bongiorno. And be honest with me, did you remember that name? But he won a stage here, the Argentinian rider. The team, most likely not. Well, actually not, because the time of our winners is 14:30. But who knows what the options are for the team with breakaways and the King of the Mountains or King of the Hills. It's a hill competition here in Denmark because, yeah, it's definitely not mountains. Today, it's as flat as a pancake. I think we have in 13.7 kilometers, maybe 30 meters of elevation, if that. Denmark is a rather flat country, but they did manage to find a few steep roads and a few steep finishes, 4-5% average in the final kilometre. So that is going to be exciting with the likes of Matteo Trentin, Arnaud Delis in the upcoming days. Just over 2 more minutes for Team Flanders Baloise if they want to win the overall. This is Mikkel Bjerg and Mikkel Norsgaard Bjerg. Maybe contemplating where he left that 0.6 of a second. His wife, of course, competing in the Tour de France Femmes avec Swift. Emma Norsgaard Bjerg. So, with our final team on the road as it stands, we have Tobias Lund in the blue jersey, Johan Doresen in the green jersey. I think we'll have Frank van der Broek as best young rider, but we'll have confirmation about that. And it's indicated that Jesper Ras, we didn't even see Parco del Valkenburg on the road, the Dutch continental team, but it's indicated that Jesper Ras is, was the fastest on that 300-meter climb that came 500 meters after the finish line. And of course, Tobias Lund Andersen gets three jerseys. He is the green and also the white jersey, but I'm kind of thinking who is going to wear it tomorrow. The final of Team Flanders Baloise. They're going into the chicane here. 7 Flemish riders all together. Kolman Hestes, De Jager, Van Poeken, Van der Stormen, Van Hoof and Verkuili. Here in last position we have Dylan Van der Stormen. They stayed together into the finish straight, final few hundred meters for the team. The winning time of DSM-Firmenich-PostNL is gone. 14:30. Average speed of 56.7 kilometers an hour. They finished in 10th place. Good result there for Flanders Baloise. 19 teams across the finish line. DSM-Firmenich-PostNL are the winner, with Tobias Lund as our new leader in the general classification. They crossed the line with 3 riders, with Johan Dorissen and also Frank van der Broek. First off the ramp, that was 4:15, and yeah, stayed in the hot seat for the entire duration of stage 1. Here we have confirmation. It's a bit weird because it's all about the individual times, but interesting to see is that Lotto Destiny just 2 seconds down, and with the bonus seconds tomorrow, and Arnaud Delis being one of the big favourites for that stage, yeah, that is an interesting perspective for him. The DSM-Firmenich-PostNL win ahead of Team Emirates UAE Lotto Destiny, the national team from Denmark, Kola Quick, Uno-X Mobility, and the rest of the top 10.
There it is. Go back.
Yeah, they are on a run, Team DSM-Firmenich-PostNL. Of course, the double stage win for Charlotte Kool in the Tour de France Femmes was absolutely spectacular. 2 stages for Pavel Bittner in the Vuelta a Burgos. Romain Bardet, of course, winning in the opening stage in the Tour de France. And now the first stage of the Tour of Denmark.
Do you have your boarding bag?
Technically, you cannot go to the podium on your slippers, but it would be fun. Just do it. Here is the general classification. Indeed, Oliveira in 3rd place. Lund Andersen is our blue jersey winner. And we'll see him tomorrow when we go to Veje for a stage of 231 kilometers.